How's it going, everybody? It's almost 1 a.m. and it's raining and I have all this energy. So let's do a reading I haven't done in a while. It's a past life reading. I could pick up on multiple past lives that you've had or just one. I like to get some precognitive stuff. So I'm going to call out a couple cards that I'm feeling will probably come out. I heard Atlantis and Celtic, persecution, transportation with the train, hunger, mother, love life. See if any of those come out. Monk or a nun. Okay, so we got some spirituality definitely coming out. I heard healer. Mother. Definitely were a mother. Or you had a close bond with a mother. Finances. Trust and faith. Wars and battles. This is the meat of your past life, so I get several of these cards. Spirituality and religion, yep. Kind of getting like Puritan, pilgrim, like a small village, like you were the priest or married to the priest. Or you were a nun and had like an affair with the priest. I don't know. I'm getting this. Greco-Roman, forgiveness. Food and hunger. Boom. There's two. High priest, priestess. Yeah, so you could have been like a shaman, a spiritual healer, a judge, a priest. With the finances, you could have been a banker here. Money. You had money in this town. The arts. Okay, so you were a performer. Getting magician vibes. I don't know why I just saw Chris Angel. That's weird. For a past life. Biblical. So this is way, 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 way back. Greco-Roman's pretty old. I do kind of feel like pioneer fighting with the natives. Could be in the Americas here. Health. Definitely a healer. Ships. Yeah, like a town. Okay, so there is a transformation card, but I don't think, or I'm sorry, transportation. I don't think trains were invented yet. Mother, father, had a child. Asia goes in with communal living. Spouse. There's that love life. Male-female relationship. Authority figures. Scriber, writer. Phobias. Okay, so I definitely feel like if you weren't a judge or something, you recorded, you could write, but this is older than that. Maybe I'm getting more than one life here, because I'm feeling in the Americas, setting up shop here in the States very early on, like Pocahontas shit. But I'm also seeing like ancient Egypt looking. Let me get like 4 more. Oh my God, they're shooting out. Medicine man or woman. Okay, so yeah. There's a life here where you were a judge and you persecuted others. There was a life where you were a scribe, probably in ancient Egypt. Medicine man or a woman during the Native American pioneer thing. So you got multiple lives coming in. Oh my God, look at Native American. Angels, trees, persecution, there it is, imprisonment. Okay, so what I feel like you were taken in by the Puritans as a child for one life. So you were actually Native American. You came from healers. They killed your parents. They kept you. You were like a slave to the pilgrims. Alright, I need a drink. We have Galactic and Knighthood. So I do have multiple lives for you. I'm getting heavy in the Pioneer days, but I do have an Ancient here. I'm not going to leave any on the board. I'm just going to I normally leave a couple and we feed the storyline from there, but I just feel like you have so many fucking lives coming through that I would do better with my channeled deck. Alright, let's kind of get a feel of your vibe here. I'm going to get your personality and your character. What was your character like to other people? Fish, very spiritual. Pisces energy. Starfish, when you were a performer, you were a star. I'm getting singing vibes. Very promiscuous, but travel a lot. Well liked. You multiplied. You could have a lot of kids. You got people in their fields. You were very famous. You transformed through a lot in your life. Snake, multiple lives, yeah. You were like cosmic to people. Definite starseed energy. When you were a masculine, you were very masculine and chiseled. If you were feminine, you were very beautiful and bountiful. But yeah, you took a bite out of people. A little bit of a con artist vibe here. But you had a strong insight, and this is where your survival instinct, like you could tell when people were going to turn on you, when things were going to go bad. Let's see how your personality was. Versatility. Yeah, you were like a chameleon. You could transform. That's why you were such a good con artist, musician. Hustle. Yeah, you made that money. You know how to, everywhere you go, you could make anybody believe anything. Like, I feel like you created multiple lives for yourself. Everywhere you went, you had like a new personality. You were a con artist, pickpocket, cheated in poker, but nobody knew you were a charmer. Or you were just focused about money. Peace. You were a peaceful person. You saw a lot of violence. Yeah, with that sexuality popping, you were definitely promiscuous. You were a lover, not a fighter. You had the instinct. You escaped before the fight happened. You like to party. You like to be zen and peaceful. Yeah, you had a lot of change. You transformed yourself, multiple looks. You were a truth teller. Although I felt like you were a con artist, you spoke truth to people. Yeah, you had high self-esteem. You were ruled by your emotions. You'd spend money. You'd fall in love easily. You had pride for yourself. You wanted to build a life. You weren't going to be that slave or that poor person anymore. You created an aura. Maybe you weren't really rich, but you made people believe you were rich. Let's see what you did for a living. Light and love. You were a light worker. You definitely were a speaker. Maybe you traveled with a religious. Ooh, definitely night energy. You could have been a leader and like motivated the troops. Time to decide, let go. Creative expression. Definitely an artist here. You could have been a playwright. You were speaking truth. You could have been an early politician or just somebody spreading hope. Fighting back. Yeah, leadership. You could be helping people get better pay, get better jobs. You wanted justice for crimes like your people that were murdered just for being where they were. You definitely were an empath. And you definitely have those shaman vibes. I think you wanted justice for your people. You spoke the truth. You could have wrote a book here. Let's get some facts about your life. This is my channel deck. This is where we're going to get a lot about you. in these past lives. You were in the church. Shit you not, the synchronicities. You definitely were a holy person. Definitely traveled spreading the word. Let me go ahead. Oh my God, you were very famous. Confirmation, you were in the celebrity world. You had a dark humor. To me, this is like political cartoons. Like you had an artistic way of kind of making fun of the leaders. You were a royal, so you could have been traveling with your troops, speaking a knight, prince, king, queen, princess. Oh my God! Oh my God! You guys, I said that on Pioneer Days in the beginning. Confirmation. I fucking love it. Medicine, doctor, nurse, shaman, confirmation. I love how they're like, we're changing decks, guys. This is fucking real, man. Had a passionate relationship in secret over many years, but we're not married. So you could have been having a secret affair with your nun friend. You worked with animals. Could have been a veterinarian. You suffered a lot in your life. Yeah, you lost your family. You were a slave. You loved your spouse. So maybe you were married to someone, but had love with, maybe you loved someone you were traveling with. Professional, important job, upper class, dressed or lived well. Yeah, like if you were a royal, like most royals married for treaties. So you married who you were supposed to, but you loved, you like had a mistress or a mister. Middle East, definitely Asia, Egypt, never married. Well, that's confusing. Loved your spouse, never married. You were very good looking. Many people were attracted to you. Okay, so maybe you didn't make it official. Maybe you just pretended to be married but never locked it down. Yeah, you were religious. Maybe you couldn't get married. You had twins. So you definitely had children with that rabbit energy. I don't think for some of you you could get married because of your job. You caused many to die. Yeah, you caused persecutions as a judge. Never had your own children. Okay, so multiple lives coming in. Okay, so maybe the pioneer thing happened and you were like, you suffered and tortured and you ended up getting taken in and become this person, but it was because back in the day when you were this religious king or queen, you like off with their head type. So you were getting this next life, like losing your family, because that's what you caused other people to have when you were a royal. So your first life as a royal, you weren't very good. Like as a good person, like you killed a lot of people. Hey, I got dark visions of my life too. It's not pretty. We all been there. This is how we evolve. So then flashback to the Americas. You were reborn into a Native American tribe. You lost your family, like you caused a lot of children. It was like a repent for what your soul did, if you will. That's why we're getting these two lives back to back. You got out of a bad or rough marriage in a time most didn't. You married again and it was a very happy relationship. Okay, so maybe you did in that one life. I kind of feel like it was the pioneer life. You married out of situational circumstances. Either they died or you just moved away and like created a new personality, a new name so that you could remarry. Newspaper club, you were definitely an early journalist of some kind, like you were a truth teller, cartoonist. Suffered illness, disease, injuries, but survived and overcame it. So you could have been in some battles or scuffles. You could have been accepted to a lot of diseases, especially, you know, coming from Native Americans into pioneers. They could have gotten exposed to germs your body never experienced, but you lived. You were well liked and trusted even when you were a slave. Died old is popping to me. You worked a trade. I feel like you could sell the shirt off your back. You just had that knack to charm people. Orphaned as a baby. A confirmation you were taken. Your family was persecuted and you were taken as a baby. They spared you because you were able, as mean as it is to say, you were able to be trained and taught English. You died on land and were cremated. Egypt. You almost went to prison for life or executed, but you were pardoned and escaped that fate. So I feel like some of your truth-telling got you in trouble. And again, your charming skills won the judge over and you lived. You set an example in society. People changed their actions based upon the example you set. You created change in your life in a big way. Wow, so you were definitely a good speaker. You chose love over money and success and ended up more successful and rich than you could ever imagine. So you could have walked away from a marriage that you only got into for money or profit because your heart was in love with someone, and you ended up selling and making your own money anyway. So at the end of the day, you got love and the life you wanted. Good for you. You escaped a worker prison camp and took refuge in hiding or in neutral countries. You survived wars, conflicts against your people, but many others died, including your family. Confirmation that you were a Native American. You took refuge in, became as pioneer as you could the way you looked, and when you were old enough, you escaped. You left, and then you later came back to fight for your people and their justice. It's like you played the game because you knew you had to survive. You wanted to travel the world, and you did a few times. You definitely wanted to get away where you were from because you were a slave and a prisoner, but you wanted to learn and you wanted to see and you wanted to make your life mean something because your people were persecuted. You changed the world and history with your life's work. You went around telling the truth about your people. You were an athlete. You lived isolated from people, off in the wild. So some of your life, I think you got sick of being famous, or you spent some time, maybe you escaped as a young child and you lived like your people. You stayed ahead of the pioneers. You stayed away from tribes. You could have just lived by yourself until you were old enough to create this personality. You knew English. You knew how the pioneers lived. So maybe when you were ready, you created this alter ego and was accepted into society. Something like that is definitely possible here. You were a humanitarian and helped take care of people in your time. Anybody who was being persecuted just for being who they were, you definitely were an activist. Fisherman, good with working on the sea. So you could have hit on fishing vessels for a while, or that's how you traveled the world. You were a sex addict. You were good at fighting. Ooh, you owned slaves or were royalty of some kind back in the day. That's why you had to suffer in that next life. You could paint, draw, or sculpt. Definitely artistic vibes, confirmation. People came to you for protection for hire. So there's that night energy. You were hired muscle. You grew up very hard and should have gone very dark routes, but your good heart and ambition turned the tides, and you got out and changed your life for the better. Again, confirmation that you snuck away. You refused to be a slave. You changed your life. You told your people's story and you made it count. You made it mean something. It wasn't for nothing that you survived. You had a lot of siblings or lived longer lives with them. So I think the siblings were other kids that were taken with you, or when you were a royal, you had a lot of siblings. You wrote a book or invented something. Confirmation of that author. All right, let's get a little bit about how you were spiritually, or what your life purpose was. I'm just going to take this one because half of the deck flew out. Starbathing. So you were somebody who could read the stars or got information in a cosmic way. Maybe you meditated under the stars, or you believed in astrology. double mission. So there's that double purpose of you had to live as a tyrant for people to want change and step away from dark leaders and have more of a say politically within their communities. And then you had that mission of being a slave and then getting out and changing your life. You had to be the tyrant and you had to be the fighter, if that makes sense. Empathic starseed. So definitely an empath here. Definitely connected. Definitely healing vibes. Shaman energy. Water your garden. Yeah, you were bringing life back. You were bringing freedom to people. You were enlightening people that they can't treat people a certain way or they can't kill people just because they're different. Like, you can learn to coexist and live together. All right, let's close this out with some details about your life or who you were. Upskill. There you are teaching. I think you taught a lot about spirituality and about your people and how your people lived. For some of you, I feel like you were one of the last of your tribes. There's that ancient Egypt. You could have been a pharaoh. You were very into, in ancient Egypt times, you were somebody who knew all the gods. You were like a high priest, high priestess. Like, you would make sacrifices for certain things that your community needed. You could read the earth. You could read the energy. Definitely a shaman. Definitely like witch vibes as well. Oh my God, there you are. Explore your creative side. Always an artist. That was constant through all of your lives here. You're very artistic. Whole self-health. Yeah, you were definitely into eating good. You were definitely into growing foods, especially with Native American cultures. They're built, a lot of them, around the 3 sisters, which are 3 crops. So that could be confirmation here of your beliefs. Take time out. You were very much into bathing and hygiene, but this is like spiritual baths to me. Sound baths even for some of you. You were a comedian. You performed. You understood that life was hard for everybody. So whatever you were trying to teach or project, you didn't do it in like a domineering, scary way. You made people laugh. You made them think. You made them forget about their troubles. You brought peace to them. You were just a peaceful soul, and you spread light wherever you were. Even I feel when you were a tyrant, you still were changing a lot. You just had a lot of anger in your heart that your body had to transmute. But this is why good things come to you now. Like, you earned your spiritual wings back when you became a slave and broke free and changed the world, and you were no longer a tyrant. Your soul learned the evolution to step out of the dark into the light. And we are all both dark and light when we have multiple lives. And some of our lives were very dark and some of our lives were very light. And everything has its purpose. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you liked the past life reading. If you want more like this in the future, please give this a thumbs up below. Talk to me in the comments if you would like. I'll see you again soon. Happy Cinco de Mayo, or whenever this finds you. Bye.